Hello, and welcome back to another amazing episode of We Be Talking, y'all. How y'all doing today?
We be talking, what's the word? Everything you never heard. We be talking,
We have an amazing topic for you guys today, but before we get into it, please do not forget to like, share, subscribe, leave us a comment, but most importantly, hit that little bell notification so you can be notified when we post another video. You can be up to date on this stuff, okay? Let's get into these amazing hosts. We have Miss Sheikah, looking beautiful as always.
Hello.
And Miss Tamara, fly as can be. And I am here, your host, Ave, along with these amazing ladies. So the topic today is, we're talking about parenting 2022, discipline, boundaries, etc., etc. Ladies, what do you think about that?
Ooh.
I know.
Ooh.
Take a moment.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it. The only thing I can think of is how this topic could be very hard, especially, if you grew up in the household with both your parents and they had like a really strict hold on you, and you become of age now and they still think that they can tell you what to do. You know what I'm saying? And the reality is, I'm an adult now, so you can't tell me what to do. But, I respect your opinion. I respect, your unsolicited advice.
That one.
But, I'm grown. So I can see that being a difficult thing, being afraid to hurt their feelings or, what they might say or anything. Like, look at Sheikah's like, I ain't scared. What you think, Sheikah?
I'm just saying, like, it's important for the parents to establish that line of, as far as, okay, you're of age now, and not cross it, because sometimes you have to help the child or the person that's transitioning to realize, okay, those are boundaries. Like, I remember a certain time my mom would say, girl, I don't need to know that. When, being grown, she would say, I don't want to know that. That's on you. That's it. So she kind of helped me establish, you know what I mean? At times, now that I'm much, older and mature, we kind of talk, we're more like a friend. We're more friends than anything. But before, during that portion, she would have to help me establish, certain boundaries. So it can be hard. It can be difficult for the parent and the child. You got some children that are very headstrong, right? And they don't need you to help them set no boundaries. They're gonna tell you, they're gonna do it, and it's just you're gonna have to find a way to deal with it. But then you have those who aren't like that, who are scared to break mommy's heart, or who are scared to, they value their parents' opinion so much to, they just want to make sure they keep everything in line. And so for those, you would have to help establish boundaries. And if you're a good parent, you want to establish those boundaries, or don't abuse the fact that your child honor you, or the fact that your child, respect you so much so they want to keep you in the loop with everything. Don't abuse that. Set those, if they're grown and they're leaving or transition, or especially we're talking about grown people, they grown, they out of the house, regardless of how fresh out of the house they are, you gotta dig deep and set them. That girl took a deep breath. You gotta dig deep and set those boundaries,
Girl.
And trust that the parenting that you've given them, that they're gonna fall back on it. That's all you you give it to the Lord. At this point, they no longer riding on my lap, they on my heart, and I gave them to the Lord. I heard the old people say, they come off your lap and they onto your heart, and it's true. And
well, the Bible does say, train up a child in the way that they should go, so that when they're old, they won't depart from it. But they kind of veer away to the side sometimes. They go to the left, to the right, But that word and that truth is instilled in them, and they will come back, because that's what the word say. What do you think, Ave?
I actually think that setting boundaries with parents is necessary. And I think it's necessary to teach your child how to have healthy relationships, because the first relationship that they have is with their parent. And so then they base every single relationship, be it friendship or romantic relationship, off of the foundation that they have with their interactions with their parent, and how they see their parents interact with each other, and
or the lack thereof,
exactly. Yeah. And so how I envision it is, when you're teaching a child, you got a baby, you're trying to teach the baby to walk, and first you start off in like the little little roller things where you put them in there and they just kind of rolling around, and they're like, oh shoot, I'm on my own, I got this. But you have them encased in this little device, this little roller device that's protecting them, but still allowing them to kind of get a feel of what's going on. And then when they begin to walk, you start like, you got to hold my hand. Then it's okay, well, you can walk beside me. Then it's, okay, well, after you walk beside me, you don't have to hold my hand, but you got to stay close. Then it's okay, well, you can go and you can go look, we'll see on this aisle here. I'm gonna be right here. So I'm looking at you to go. You go ahead and you come back. And I think as you do step by step we don't realize that we're setting boundaries with our children in doing those little things like that, to the point of where, like you said, Shika, when they become older, if you do it correctly, to where you're realizing that they are not a smaller version of you. They are their own individual with their own thinking, with their own views, with their own feelings. And so then when you look at it from that aspect, then I feel like it is easier, in a sense, to set boundaries, to show them healthy boundaries between a parent. So then when they leave, you don't have one of those kids that leave and don't ever come back, that leave and don't want to call you and talk to you. Because you've held on so tight that you were kind of suffocating them. So then when they actually get out to go and experience things in the world with other people, they don't have any boundaries set within themselves to realize, you know what, you're not a good fit for me. I don't want to mess with you, Chris, or I don't want to mess with you, Donna, because you're not they open and make themselves accessible to everyone, which then sadly sometimes can have them fall prey to the enemy, to be completely honest with you, to try absolutely. To come after them, and because he knew that they weren't actually ready. So I say all that, but I know it was long. We went around the Mulberry Bush and came back around, and I stopped y'all off at the popcorn stand. So I know we went all over. But while we're eating the popcorn, I do think that boundaries are very healthy. And I think if you are a parent that wants what's best for your child, you would have healthy boundaries within your relationship with them. So then they know what healthy boundaries in a relationship looks like when they're interacting with other people.
Well, what about those kids though, who's had all those good things, the healthy boundaries, the good example of seeing their parents, interact with each other and all those things, but then they still want to act a plumb fool. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you know that you did your best, you did all you could, you gave them all the tools, that's necessary to do what's right, and they know this. But they still want to act a doggone fool. What do you do with those kids, child? What can a parent do?
If they're grown and out of the house, there's nothing you can do.
You're right.
Turn them over to the Lord. Like, what can you do? Be there for them when it's needed. And outside of that, everything that you didn't show them, they still want to act a fool. That's on them. Yeah. Let them know that this is the route your life is taking. And if you want another route, then you're going to have to change. But if you decide to continue to go down this road, you're going to hit A, B, or C. I mean, and then all you can do is pray, trust the Father with it. Ain't nothing you can do in that situation.
And then also on top of that, I think a lot of times parents see decisions that their child make as a reflection of their level of parenting. Like, you out here making me look bad. You out here making, you know what I mean? And what you have to realize is, no, I'm not. When I was in your house and you had a say in what I was doing, and you had a say in how I was being brought up, I did things according to the way that you wanted me to do them. However, now, like Shika said, when you become an adult, it's I hate to say that, but I know for me personally, when I became an adult, the things that I was unable to experience when I was a child in my parents' house, I wanted to experience those things when I got out. It was like, here comes the sun. Do, 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 do. It was literally like that. Like I wanted to come out. I felt the sun, the sweet rays of sunshine on my skin, honey. And I was like, oh, I'm an adult now. I can do whatever I want, however I want. But then that wasn't the best. That was not the best choice. I do not recommend that. 1010 do not recommend it. It's guilty. Do not, children, if you are watching, do not do that. Heed the words of thine parent, because they speak from experience, you know? But yeah, I do think that a lot of times when parents feel like that, it's because they feel like it makes them look bad, as if their child is an extension of them, you know? And it's like, no, not when they're an adult.
In a sense, they still come from you. You have to be mature enough to know that, okay, I raised them right. They're grown. They doing that. Ain't got nothing to do with me. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
And it's hard.
You just have to literally, you got to trust what you've given them, and know that when they do something contrary to what you've given them, it has nothing to do with you. Like, that was their choice. I always say this to people: when my mama raised me right, first off, I knew biblically having sex outside of marriage was wrong. I knew, you know, I should have been waiting for my husband. I knew that it was a sin. All of it, all of the above. I grew up in church. I knew it. She stopped now. She talked to me. Then on the other hand, I knew that I was exposing myself to STDs. I knew that I was giving myself away too early for spiritual. I knew that, you know, this little young man I'm messing with could possibly get it and leave. Like all of these things that she had told me, and I knew that, you know, I need to keep myself for more than just spiritual reasons, you know, just all kinds of things. She laid it out, you know, STDs, you know, pregnancy, you just don't want to go that route for emotional reasons that you're not mature enough to handle. Just all of those things my mama had prepared me for. I mean, she taught me, sat me down, told me this, that, and the third, A, B, and C. I still made a choice to do it, even though in that choice, I knew that I was being disobedient. I knew it was against what she taught me. I knew it was against God. I knew it was against my mom. I knew I made a choice to do what I did. And I made a choice and I got pregnant and whatever the case may be, but I knew what I was doing. Somebody had taught me what I should be doing, and I knew what I should have done, and I just didn't. It had nothing to do with the rearing of my family or my mom or my dad. It had something to do with the choices I decided to make. I decided to be rebellious. And we know sometimes our children become they're rebellious.
Oh, yes.
So,
yes.
With that being said, parents, if you taught your child and they do something contrary, it has nothing to do with you. You've done your part. And sometimes kids just headstrong and they want to do what they want to do.
You're right.
And there ain't nothing you can do. I mean, outside of trust them with the
and
Father.
Pray for them.
I got a word from the Lord concerning your life, and I'm gonna stand on that. And every time I see you, I'm gonna remind you of that word. I mean, you can do what you want to do, but I'm gonna give you the word. You know, that's the end of that. You know.
And it's so easy for them to rebel and stray away from what you tell them, because around them, look around, look in the world, look on social media, TV, music, everything is contrary to what what you've taught them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's so easy for them to go and want to explore other things and all of that stuff. So you can't make them do what you want them to do. Like you said, you just got to teach them the right way and trust the word that they will return, whether they gonna get beat up real bad or they gonna, get beat up a little bit and be like, okay, well, this is what my mama was talking about,
Right.
But yeah.
Let me ask you this. So, with us talking about setting boundaries and everything that we just discussed as far as like the kids and you can't tell them what to do as far as like when they're adults, they're gonna go out and they're gonna do what they want to do. Then how would you feel if you were talking to your child about something they told you, no, I'm not doing that, I don't want to do that? Honestly, as a parent, and your kid is an adult, and they're saying to you, I'm not going to do that. Would you feel some type of way if they told you no?
Probably
Depends on what it
better.
is. Depends on what it is.
If I mean, I don't care what it is. If I'm telling them to do something right and they tell me contrary, apparently I see that what I'm telling them is best. So I'm probably be a little butthurt. I ain't gonna lie. Oh, Jesus. But
you don't want to do that.
Right. I would have
well,
to
go and do what you want then. Go and do what you want then. And then when something happens, don't call me. Look, get mad at them or something.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, you gotta realize they're grown. That's where that boundary come in, that you gotta realize that they're an adult and they gonna do what they want to do. Like, you can't make grown people do nothing. And I think a lot of people mess up. That's when you draw a wedge in between your relationship with your child.
Yep.
And you.
What about the little rebellious kids that are not adults? How do you, without putting down the restraint, which can result in them, like, running away from you, or shutting down?
How old? What type of kid? What do you mean? Like, what?
I'm talking about like preteens, like so from like preteens to like late teens, before you become 18.
13, 18.
Well, you're still in the house. I'm still responsible for you. Like, if you go out there and do something, they're gonna call me, not you. You know what I'm saying? So how do you, without, how do you set those boundaries without severing the relationship or damaging the relationship?
Oh, I do not know, because honey, this
funny, because the three of us were like, okay,
I'm about to say, not sure, because I know one thing. They probably wouldn't be moving a lot. They have a lot going on. Honestly, I'm just saying, like, if you can't obey me while you're still under my rulership and whatever the case may be, and you that young, just know that your life gonna be miserable. We've always, me and my husband always told my children, either you can have a good life in this house or you can have a bad life. A bad life in this house is not doing what is told and disobeying and doing the things that you desire to do. Because let me tell you something, the real world, what's gonna happen, you can have a good life or you can have a bad life. We're preparing you for that. So you either follow these guidelines and be respectful, and you'll have a breeze. But if you don't follow these guidelines and be respectful, you won't have it. Just won't happen. It won't happen. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm not giving you luxuries and you treat me like crap. Are you kidding me? Phone, you can hang it up. Games, you can hang it up. And anything else that you think that is a luxury, I will take care of you because that's what I'm supposed to do. But outside of that, you won't have a good life in this house. And that's just a period. You might miss a couple of teeth if you keep playing with me.
And then so these kids, as a result of the millennials being our children, they are so entitled. Yeah, our children are so entitled. Our children want an explanation for everything. It ain't back in the day like when your parents said no because I said no. You tell them no and they want to know why. It depends on what it is. Sometimes I will give them an explanation. Yes, because they need to know, depending on what it is. But some things I don't give an explanation for. It's because I said so and that's it. And they walk off. They just walk off because my kids know when I get in that tone, is you better move because I would girl to this day if need be. But I mean, we were such a big disciplinary. We were huge disciplinaries. I think we were a little too. We should have brought it down a notch. But if we didn't, we probably wouldn't have the kids we have today. I just have to say. But these millennials and the raising of these kids, these millennials, is horrible.
Let me tell you why I think that's a good point that you made. And I think what it really came down to is the pressure and the responsibility that was on millennials from their parents and them knowing how they felt as a child and not being able to operate in a child's capacity.
Ding, ding, ding.
Then when they became parents, they were like, I am not going to put that.
We're not doing that.
But yeah, we're not doing that. I'm not going to put that weight or I'm not going to put that burden on my child because I realized as a kid how stressful and unattainable that was and the level of stress and kind of hypervigilance that kind of instilled and you. So, you know, when with as far as for me and Micro, I used to always tell my kids, like, you have a voice, use it. Like, you have a voice, so use it. So if you have something to say, you know, you make sure that you say it respectfully. But, you know, if you feel some type of way, or if something is occurring and you're interacting with an adult, you don't argue with an adult, because it's not a fair fight. Like, no matter what, no matter, you're going to end up losing. But if you could respectfully express yourself and they're just coming at you like, bah, 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 bah. Okay, tag me in, coach. Tag me in. And then you let me go and deal adult, you know, to adult. So I don't think that millennials, I don't want to say failed, but I think it went to the extreme of, instead of in some situations, they threw the baby and the bathwater out, where
because
it's
of
like,
their trauma.
Right.
It's like a response to the trauma. It's like we had PTSD and we wanted to make sure that the trauma that we went through, that our kids, you know, don't go through the same thing. And in doing so, we just kind of did too much, or maybe not enough.
They did too much. It went too far on the other side of the spectrum. So then
I can see that.
You know what I mean? They meant well.
I can see that being the reason for a lot of the
they just went too far.
I mean, but the Bible prophesied about in the last days, this is what's going to happen, and how children be disobedient to parents, and just you know, I mean, I can see, you know, what you guys are saying. I definitely can understand the response. But I think it was also designed set up from the enemy, because it's so far away from biblical principles. The Bible says, spare the rod. If you spare it, then you
gonna spoil the child.
Spoil it. You mess them up. They're good for nothing. And so I think we spared too much in a sense, that because of the over of none.
We were trying to make sure.
Right.
We overdid it.
But you know, for me, I had the opposite. Only I did take a couple things that I didn't like. Like, my mom used to whip me and be like, "You better be quiet, hush." I'm like, "You can beat the shit out of me." I hated it. And I used to be,
I'm gonna give you something to cry for. You did.
And I'm like, what in the world? So when I used to discipline my kids, two things: I used to talk to them. They knew why they were getting disciplined. Second thing, I never told them that they couldn't cry. Like, if I whooped them or they could cry. Like, why would I tell you? I just spanked your butt, and then I tell you and then if I didn't cry, oh, you ain't gonna cry. Right? And the minute I started crying, it was just too much. You're right. You
couldn't win. You couldn't win.
Too much.
But I those were things I took with me. I'm like, no, but I did believe in. I don't know. I just believed in like. Tap that tail, because with children, you can't reason. Kids don't understand reason.
No, they don't
reason with a kid. Oh, I'll give you this if you do this, or do this if you do that. You cannot reason with children. And so, with that being said, I didn't give my babies a lot of leeway in the beginning, because I needed to set back. They needed to know that they can't say, do, walk, a lot of things that I didn't give them leeway at all. So, and I like that, I bet you have a voice, but it wasn't until they got older. We did it steps. It wasn't until
they can understand and be responsible with that voice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they had to be, I think, about 12, 13, but we implemented certain things. But even with that, they had to be careful with that. Like,
this is not a free for all.
Because I also wanted to open up communication, because I didn't want them to deal with inner turmoil and they felt like they couldn't come to me. That was another thing. I wanted to make sure my kids could come to me. So I remember telling one of my homegirls, she was like, "Your baby told you that?" I was like, "Yeah." And even though we were huge disciplinaries, they got discipline when needed. I didn't just, you know what I mean? So
just because, or have you heard this, Sheikah? Or if somebody else, your parents heard that somebody else did something and came home and whooped you just in case. Like, I used to hear about
what in the buy one get one free whooping?
Like, what you mean whoop me just in case? Listen, I was watching Dr. Phil one day, and so they were talking about they're really against, like, the world now was really against, like, disciplining kids and like whooping them and stuff. And they were like, so Dr. Phil was explaining to this mother that when you hit the child, it's going to hurt. So the lady was like, he was just saying to her, do you understand that when you hit her, that hurts her? So the lady was looking at her like, then that's why that's the point of that.
Right.
Like why would if I tap you and it didn't do anything, like what like, not only am I just didn't understand.
I think it's designed by the enemy. Anything that God
is designed by the enemy.
Anything God has said in the world goes, I think
they come against it. It's contrary.
Because God says spare it if you don't use it. And he didn't even say don't do it at all. He said if you spare it. Meaning if you get away. If you spare the rod, you gonna make. The Bible says that me whooping you save your soul from hell.
Come on now.
That's scripture. Because what it does, it instills discipline, which we don't have nothing of. We don't have discipline today. Instill discipline in children. I know this is an unpopular, especially today, it's very unpopular because people don't believe they have to hit their kids anymore. And to each his own. I'm not telling nobody how to raise their child. To each his own, but people don't believe they have to hit their kids no more. I talked to somebody, she was like, I just don't want to have to. Well, do what you, but you're going through hell over there in that house. When you need to bring some correction.
I ain't living in hell. None of that.
And if you don't spank them, the police will, and the police is not going to spank them. They're going to beat them and shoot them.
Check this out.
Do it early. Right now, I've been stopped with. I don't have to hit my kids.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Thank you.
There you go.
I was just about to say that.
And then when they get older, I've already instilled in them. You can't do that.
They self-regulate
themselves. You can't talk to me like that. You can't walk that way. You get what I'm saying? When they get older, you can't.
All you gotta do is talk. All you gotta do is talk because you already set that. You already set that boundary, and they know.
That's from my girl and my boys. They all know. As a matter of fact, my son is more respectful than my daughters. Because girls a little, but he was a little, but no, no. But
I completely agree. You make a very good point about that. Because I think that what we fail to realize is you can love your child. No, let me say this. Well, yes, you can love your child, period. Okay. Now, second sentence. Okay. I think that people have decided to make disciplining your child synonymous with abuse.
Yes. Because some people, their definition of discipline was actually abuse.
Abuse. Yes.
Right.
And so with that, and I totally understand that some people's just doing way too freaking much, Right. But so then with that happening, it was like you said, looked down upon to say that you spanked your kid's butt. And, you're not spanking them to damage them, to like hurt them.
It's the exact opposite.
I'm spanking you because I honestly love you and want you to get this in your head, because nobody, when you leave out this house, is going to have any care, patience, tolerance, and wanting to help you make sure that you get it, and dealing with you with kid gloves and be like, oh, it's okay. It's okay.
The dog eat dog world.
Yes, no, because there's no reason for them to care about you. Why would they? And so it's, if I can discipline you in the safety of your own home, for you to realize you don't touch, and check this, discipline, like people said, what's this thing now? Gentle parenting. Okay. Mm-hmm. Where Johnny threw a ball in Susie's face. And instead of going and saying, Johnny, you do not throw that ball in Susie's face. Do you understand?
In childcare, you don't talk to kids that way, but go ahead.
Yes. You do not throw the ball in Susie's face, Johnny. That is not okay. What you're supposed to say is, Johnny,
was that a
ball that you took to hit in Susie's face? You hurt her. How do you think that makes you feel, Johnny?
Girl, that's irritating me. You just saying it like that. I'm so irritated just listening.
Yeah, that's the way they train you. That's true.
Listen, I'm serious. What were you feeling? What big emotion were you feeling, Johnny?
Johnny was letting the devil use him.
Take the ball and hit Susie. Now, mind you, Susie's over there boo-hoo and crying. Feeling the repercussions of this.
Bleeding.
Yes. Feeling the repercussions, the physical repercussions of Johnny throwing the ball.
While you dealing with Johnny.
while you dealing with Johnny, and you think talking to Johnny, asking Johnny, Johnny don't give a dong diggity ding dong.
At 3, 4,
At 3, okay.
5, 6,
About the fact he like,
7,
I
8,
wanted to throw the ball,
9.
and I threw the ball.
Right.
So when you do that, then now you got Johnny and Johnny 15 and 16 years old.
Oh,
and then here, Johnny, Johnny, don't do this. And Johnny pick up something and Johnny throw it at you. You're like, Johnny, how could you? No.
Right in your face.
Ask him what big feelings he was feeling then. Ask him about what was he feeling that made him. No,
the truth
it's gotta make sense.
The truth, they cry out for you to discipline them, honestly.
Yes, they do.
You know, that's the truth.
Yeah.
So Johnny, like you said, Johnny turned 14, 15. But because you get on my nerve, that's why.
You get on my nerves over here telling me that this ball hurt Susie. And
I don't care about this ball hurt Susie, mama.
Wanted the ball to hurt Susie.
Exactly.
Right.
Instead of telling her, I'm gonna pop your butt. You don't throw the ball. Look at what you did
There
and
you
how
go.
you made her feel. You don't throw that ball again. Do you understand? Now you're done with the ball. You've lost your privilege of playing with the ball because you didn't do it correctly. Now, I popped your behind, you crying, and now I'm gonna take my time and go over here to Susie to soothe Susie because of what you did, and you're gonna sit your behind over there and you ain't gonna play with the ball. Me and
You
Susie
gonna get your butt in this house and sit down and think you gonna
Thank
see the
you.
ball. You
Thank
might
you.
not see the ball the rest of the days you live on this earth hitting people with balls. My kids.
But it sets the boundary because
It
now
does.
Johnny's like, oh shoot, okay, I can kick the ball, I can bounce the ball, I can throw the ball up and catch it, but I better not take that ball and throw that ball at anybody because I got a spanking the last time and that's not good. We had to learn those things. Think about it. I got burns on my arm from ironing. Okay, ironing my clothes with the iron. And nobody. Let me get it. Nobody burnt me with an iron, America.
Because I'm about to say that.
Tamara, most of us were like, this went to the left.
Okay, now, America, hold on. Okay, I'm not saying that I was abused, not at all. Okay, so just follow me. Okay, Hansel and Gretel style. What I was trying to say was, I remember. Okay, I remember.
You had
I was learning how to iron, and though my mom taught me how to iron, when I would do it my way, I would burn. Like I still got the burns on me from getting burned by the iron. And so I was just trying to use that as an example to say that discipline is painful to avoid you having to experience multiple pain, multiple hurt, multiple times because you didn't listen. Now, had I listened to my mama when she said to me, Ave, the iron is hot. You can't be sitting here swinging the iron all over the place. You lay the shirt out on the ironing board. You take your time and your iron. For me, you ain't know what you do. It don't take all of that. I don't need crisp edges, okay? I just need the wrinkles gone. So I'm going to do it my way. Burn up my elbow, burn up my forearm, burn up my hand. Like I'm sitting up here looking like a battered and bruised individual. But that was on me because, again, I didn't heed the warning that was said. And discipline is a warning. So you don't have to experience the painful effects and be left with the scars of those painful effects for the rest of your life.
Come on,
great analogy. Great analogy. Way to work yourself out of that hole because
thank you, girl. Because I felt people calling child protection services.
I had thought. I was thinking, you
said that iron.
Girl, I'm about to say now. Wait a minute, Ave.
No.
But that was a great analogy. I love it. Now that it's right on top of what we're talking about. But so y'all tell us how y'all feel about disciplining y'all kids. We already know.
Yes, we do.
Well, on that note, ladies, gentlemen, all that y'all are watching, please let us know in the comments. What do you think about this topic and everything that it has been said? Do not forget to like, share, subscribe, and leave us a comment, loves. And until next time, see you soon.
Bye.
We be talking.